So Russia just updated its nuclear doctrine. Hey folks, everything new under the sun. What you're looking at is all the news articles you've heard about recently by several of the YouTubers, this channel, news outlets in general. Speaking of Ukraine's ask to use long-range missiles to get the green light, the okay from NATO, and to get their hands on the weapons as well. Ukraine wants to fire Western long-range weapons into Russia. That's a 4-day-ago thing, and tens of thousands of lives will be lost if Ukraine is denied the use of long-range missiles. That's 1 day from the Independent. Al Jazeera, long-range missiles to hit Russia. Where does NATO stand on the Ukraine demand? That was 11 hours ago. Well, we now have details from Russia about what they're going to do if NATO goes ahead with it. While NATO's thinking about it, this article came out of RT, and of course you can consider this to be propaganda if you want. I'll take this as basically messaging from Russia that while NATO's thinking about whether to allow Ukraine to use long-range missiles, Russia's going to mark their red line again here. Putin orders changes to Russia's nuclear doctrine. This is dated September 25th, 2024. So this is very recent, very updated here. Russia should update its nuclear doctrine to define circumstances that could prompt Moscow to launch a nuclear strike. Putin told a meeting of the National Security Council Wednesday. He also suggested an expanded list that would include reliable information of a major airstrike being launched against Russia. Now, we'll see down further that this includes missiles, the exact missiles that Ukraine is attempting to get the permission, the green light to use from NATO. It says the list of criteria that would justify Russia's use of its nuclear deterrent should be expanded in the updated version of the doctrine. Now, Russia came out, I think it was Lavrov came out and said they were looking at this back in August. Aggression against Russia by any non-nuclear state supported, here the key is, supported by a nuclear power, NATO / France, United States, Britain, etc., should be treated as their joint attack. It says Moscow would also consider resorting to nuclear response if it gets reliable information about a massive missile or airstrike launched against by another state against Russia or its closest ally, Belarus. The weapons used in an enemy's potential strike could include anything from ballistic or cruise missiles to strategic aircraft and drones, which Ukraine has already been using. Are they basically covering retroactively, setting up for the use of a nuclear strike based on what Ukraine has effectively already used against them, because they need to modernize that, and they're getting close to the point where they're saying, you know what, we can't continue this conventional war against effectively NATO and Ukraine. I think this is the point where Putin and Russian commanders are getting to. They're saying we can't keep doing this. NATO is bleeding them dry. NATO is using up all their money here. We reserve the right to use nuclear weapons in the case of aggression against Russia and Belarus. Nuclear weapons can be used if an enemy poses a critical threat to either state's sovereignty through the use of conventional weapons. So if there's a threat to the sovereignty, let me just pull this over here. If there's a threat to the sovereignty of the country, even due to conventional weapons, they could pull out the nuclear weapons. Putin did not elaborate when the changes to the Russia's nuclear doctrine will take effect. But, I mean, it can take effect at any time. He can say whatever he wants, and he can implement whatever he wants. This is a warning to NATO as it's thinking about delivering long-range missiles to Ukraine and the use of Ukraine using them. This is him speaking directly to NATO and Ukrainian leadership, saying, look, we're going to use nuclear weapons if you start launching missiles into our sovereign territory. Now, whether you agree with it or not, doesn't matter. This is what Russia is saying to the West, and they're changing their nuclear doctrine accordingly. And you should expect that effectively it's been changed and it's in place right now. This is pretty significant, folks. This is significant. We are so close. When we look back at the history books, and we'll see how close we were in the year 2024, September of 2024, to nuclear war. I think, our heads would spin if we could look into the future and see that. We just don't know. It's probably good that we don't know it, but we are very, very close. So be prepared. When communications go down like they did in Lebanon, look out. It could mean the missiles are flying. Be prepared. I hope you know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. He's coming soon. He's foretold these things in biblical prophecy and end-time events, foretold for a time such as this, for the last days. It describes the last days in Revelation, in Daniel, in Matthew, in Luke, in Zechariah, in Isaiah, in Ezekiel, in all these books. It foretold the last days, the last times, and the things that were going to come upon us, leading to a world government, a one world leader, a world economic system, and then ultimately the abomination of desolation in the third temple, which, by the way, is well underway in terms of organization and the training of the priests, the red heifers, the sacrifice, and all the garments and such. All that's coming, all that's in progress. We are living in biblical times.